guess we all talk and think about modernism as more of a conceptual premise and how we address design. What is the modernism of today?
When you think about California, I think like the studio craft movement of California and Sam Malouf and kind of these small, almost like garage or shed or barn kind of stuff that came out in the 50s and 60s. And I think for the small studios that are operating specific in this town, we're in like a hybrid zone, making use of the kind of manufacturing capability. I mean, I know Brendan has and Jolene, myself as well. We still run a 2-person studio because we, and you heard it here first, we are outsourcerers. We are wizards of outsourcing in this town, because we can just drive around in our cars and meet new people who do this thing, and we can run a very small, tight ship, kind of coming in as designers and orchestrating all these different vendors to get the thing that we want to do, bring it to market at the price that we want to offer it. So I think for us, it's like a hybrid craft manufacturing. It's like California craft mixed with Bauhaus kind of space that we're in right now.
I think what California modernism does is like it sets a really high bar for like story and narrative and craft in a way that like I feel like, at least for the size of our studios, like I have a lot of peers who just, they make everything in China, and I'm like, well, that's just not our process. Like our process is like, we could do that, we could make better margins, we could lower the price for everybody, but then like we would worry about the environment being polluted because it's used in some factory. But rather, I can go down there, I can see how it's being made, I can get the sense of it, and then design can respond to the materiality in some way that it wouldn't if it was like this like separated process. So there is an element of modernism, I think, that's dictated by the proud history of the craft movement here, making stuff that sets an incredibly high bar about having pride that your object is referencing the materials and the manufacturing methods that make it. And to kind of only to do that, you kind of have to see it happen. You can't do it in a computer and just send it to print. And I think you can do that and be modern. I'm not saying you can't. I think for me at least in California, it's so much about the narrative aspect of it. And I think the past is, if anything, like guiding light for how to continue those conversations forward, and if everything, like if the Eames and the Schindlers and Nurseries of the world like taught us anything, is that you can do amazing things with like very simple materials if you just engage them in conversation. And you can't do that if you do that remotely. And I think the thing about California is it's so physical and tangible. It's like we have the best makers, and so I think we have some of the better designs.
Well, as two young guys who moved here to attend school, yeah, how did that play out in a different way?
I think for me, speaking to the limitations, for me, I look at it sort of the opposite. Like I've got all of these cues that are like free and easy to use, and a narrative that I can stick with, which for me is very comforting to like, I have a lane, I have a point of view, and I'm comforted by my surroundings that sort of reinforce that view. We're not interested in making things anywhere else, like, China, like we can all talk about that, but so it makes it easy. Like I can just source here. I don't have to like worry about sourcing anywhere else. I don't have to worry about designing for, some unknown. Like it's all sort of inherent in our environment, which we're super lucky. I see our peers that live in New York, and they're like, how do you get stuff made? Like, how do you drive around and like, get a chair made in a day? And it's like, it's possible. Like we can sample, we can prototype it very quickly, very, efficiently, and it's fun. It's a fun process for us. So yeah, I feel lucky rather than limited for sure.